Hi, I'm Dustin Godfrey. I'm with Castanet News. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be sitting down with each of the local Penticton riding candidates to talk a little bit about the issues. Today, we're sitting down with Connie Sahlmark with the BC Green Party. Just to start off, can you tell us a little bit about what are your major issues going into the election here?
I think my biggest issue is that we need to relook about how we're doing or conducting our politics and how we're running our provinces, because things have changed a lot. The old-time politics of just focusing on the bottom line and money, it's not applicable anymore. We're looking at a situation where our planet is seriously compromised. We have a lot of social issues. We need to start also focusing on people, planet, and profit, because it's like a three-legged stool. If the legs aren't all there, we're going to slide back into unsustainability. So
I wanted to get into education a little bit. That was something that was a little bit of a touchy subject during the debate, and something that you kind of you went after Dan Ashton quite a bit on. And I think a lot of people will say that it's easy to kind of poke the incumbent on these issues, but. So to you, what is the solution to making sure that some of these schools don't face closure in the Penticton riding or other rural ridings? And if the solution is funding, then how do you fund that?
Well, there's a couple of positions on that, or things that go into that. Having sat on the Education Council of Okanagan College for 3 years, I've seen how education has been slashed and slashed and slashed. So it does come to funding, bringing back up our education investment. The Green Party is looking at how we're going to revamp this is by providing 25 hours a week free of early education, childhood education. From K to 12, we want to increase what the current level is of $250 million up to spending $1.5 billion. Now, that's also, you can imagine how that's going to support having enough teachers, smaller classes.
Sure. Last thing I wanted to get onto was some of the major projects that are either being proposed or being built in BC, from Kinder Morgan pipeline to the Site C Dam. Specifically, I wanted to look at the Site C Dam. You mentioned in the debate, and I've heard this elsewhere as well, is that we're building this big, huge project for energy that we don't necessarily need for some years down the line. But isn't this something that's, like with it being such a big project, that a timely or time-consuming project to build, that maybe something you want to get ahead of anyway, without having to maybe wind up relying more on things like coal down the road?
Linking those two, they're not connected. That's just a political ploy. We have nations that are coming up, third world countries, or even you look at China, they're leapfrogging over things like LNG and moving to sustainable energy sources. In the States right now, they're tearing out their mega dams because of the impacts. That is really backward thinking. We have the potential for geothermal in the Peace River Valley. There are 15 close to surface sites, and the Canadian Geothermal Society approached the Liberal government and said, look, for a fraction of that cost, we can generate as much power. It is also the #1 resource in BC for wind power, for turbines. I don't understand why we wouldn't use $9 billion to invest in renewable energies, which is an up-and-coming market, as opposed to reinvesting in fossil fuels, which we know is coming to an end. It doesn't make economic sense.
Thank you. If you've got any thoughts on any of these topics or on the election in general, you can send us a letter to the editor to letters@castanet.net. For Castanet News, I'm Dustin Godfrey, and thanks again to
Thank you, Dustin.
Connie Sahlmark.